Today I wanted to do a bit of a different video, and a stock that I've been looking at recently is Amazon. And what I thought I might try out today was get with ChatGPT and its new functions and see if I could generate a report that helped convince me whether I should invest in Amazon stock or not. As you can see, I've already got 3,081 USD in Amazon shares already, which is around 14.5 shares. Currently I'm up around 14% or $382. But if you have a look at the stock price, in the last month it's down pretty much 10%. And I was looking at this and thinking if this is a buying opportunity. I've recently transferred $2,500 to this account, and now I'm looking at where I should invest this money. My challenge I thought I'd try today, whilst I tried to justify the stock price, was to give it to ChatGPT and ask, why is Amazon stock down and what is justifying the stock price? It did come back to me asking for a bit more information, and I pretty much just told it, give me everything. So it's created this report for me. It took a little while, so it took 8 minutes. I just let it there sit and think. They now have this deep research, and I thought it was quite interesting and something I wanted to try. After it gave me this nice report with everything said in it, I asked next, could it export this into a PDF? So it had all this information here. Can you export this into a PDF? So what we have here is a PDF version of the Amazon stock analysis. It looks a bit shorter, but today I'm going to go through that and kind of read through it with you guys and think through whether I think I should be investing this $2,500 into Amazon stock. So the title is Amazon Stock Decline Analysis. So why is Amazon stock down? Amazon stock has experienced a notable decline recently, driven by a combination of company-specific and broader factors. This report analyzes the key reasons behind the drop, including recent price movements, financial performance, macro pressures, market sentiment, competition, regulatory issues, and technical trading factors. So, having a quick look at Amazon stock and how it's traded, again, it's down 10% this month. It's down another 1.73% this week. But if you go on a 6 months basis, the stock is up over 20%. So it's been a very good 6 months. But across the course of the year, it's around 19%. So it is lagging, or it's pretty much flat on with the S&P 500. And for a company like Amazon, people kind of expect more growth than that. But it's been one of my good holdings in my portfolio, and I've been dollar cost averaging to grow it. So let's see what ChatGPT is saying. So it says recent price movements. Amazon share price has pulled back sharply in the past several weeks. The stock is down around 8% over the last month, including a 6% drop in just one recent week. It hit a 2-month low of around $214 a share amidst this sell-off. So if we have a look, you can see Amazon stock is down around or around $212. So this is pretty accurate. Again, keep in mind it might not have the exact day-to-day stock values. I know it was searching things like Yahoo Finance and pretty much scouring the web. I think it said something around 20 sources. So the information does seem pretty accurate so far. Next it says around $400. So a key trigger was the company's latest earning report. In early February, Amazon stock fell as much as 5% in after-hours trading, following the report, wiping out roughly $90 billion in market value. So let's see what it says around earning performance. Revenue growth. Quarterly net sales grew 10% year over year to $187.8 billion, slightly above the analyst expectations. AWS, which is its cloud service, Amazon Web Services, revenue was up 19% year over year to $28.8 billion. However, this came in just below the forecasts. Next was profitability. Operating income jumped to $21.2 billion, and a net income nearly doubled to $20 billion in Q4. Guidance. Amazon forecasts Q1 2025 revenues of $151 to $155 billion, which fell short of Wall Street's $158 billion estimate. Next is macroeconomic factors. Rising interest rates. Higher rates make growth stocks like Amazon less attractive, obviously because that means you can invest elsewhere risk-free and generate a higher return. Inflation and consumer spending. Higher inflation and recession fears made consumers more cautious. Economic outlook. Fears of a slowdown and impact Amazon's cyclical retail on AWS business. So there it's getting a bit of a broader market information. Next is market sentiment, analyst views. Most analysts maintain buy ratings, but the recent earnings guidance did hurt the near-term sentiment, so the short-term. Institutions and insider moves. Hedge funds reduced Amazon holdings by around $8.1 million in shares last quarter. It'd be nice to know where they sorted this data from, if it gave me like a reference list. Obviously, when I do it in just the normal desktop like ChatGPT, it does give me all these sources, and it looks like it's more in depth actually on here. So when I turn this into a PDF, it seems like it did cut some of the content out. So that might be something else which I could then prompt the model to include all this. Like you can see, it's done some more analysis here where it says retail, Walmart versus others, and it's compared it's kind of sales controlling 38 to 50% of US online retail market share, and then it gives you a stat and it references that. So that looks really good, but it looks like when I tried to ask the model to put this into a PDF form, it's kind of trimmed down some of the information. Maybe that's got to do with copyright. Not too sure, but more people can tell me that. And if we keep going down through, you can see it says competitive landscape. So retail. Walmart's online business is growing faster than Amazon's e-commerce. So that's something I didn't know, which is interesting. Cloud computing. Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud are gaining ground. So yes, that has been the case, but I'd like to see a bit more stats on that topic. E-commerce platforms. Shopify enables merchants to bypass Amazon. So that's interesting. Again, with the competitive landscape. And if we compare to what it says in here, so if we can go up to, here we go, level 5, which is what I was just looking at. Here it kind of gives you a bit more in depth, like we were talking about. Amazon's AWS is still the largest cloud provider, but rivals Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud are formidable. So if you're not aware, I'm also an investor in Microsoft and Google. So no matter which way this goes, I should hopefully still be good. But Azure has been growing rapidly. Microsoft Cloud segment grew 21% in Q4 2024, with Azure up 29% year over year. Even though that missed analyst expectations of 31% growth, you might have seen the rough year Microsoft stocks having. I just did a portfolio update, and Microsoft is one of my stocks, and it's down, I think, in the last year. So especially when the S&P's had a great year, that's really, really tough for investors to kind of justify. But back to Amazon. If we keep going through, you can see regulatory and legal issues. FTC antitrust lawsuit. So Amazon faces legal action that could lead business restrictions or a breakup. New regulations, EU Digital Markets Act and US regulatory scrutiny and uncertainty. So they add uncertainty. So that gives me a bit of another perspective. And then down to the last one, which is the technical analysis. So support levels, so $200 to $205 per share is a key support zone. Breaking below this could signal more downside. So this sounds kind of almost like a trading kind of justification. Resistance level, so Amazon must reclaim 227 to 230 to remain bullish momentum. And then trends and indicators. The stock is hovering near long-term support. RSI suggests potential oversold conditions. So now it gives me a little bit of a conclusion. So Amazon's decline is attributed to disappointing earnings guidance, macroeconomic headwinds, increased regulatory risks, and technical weakness. Despite these challenges, long-term growth remains attractive, though investors are waiting for stronger signals of re-accelerated growth before pushing the stock any higher. So if we compare that to the final conclusion it would give me here, I think this one would be a bit more in depth, but that was really interesting. It's something I've not really tried before with stocks, was giving it to ChatGPT, especially with how much the LLMs have improved. Obviously there's other ones like Gemini, Llama, Grok, Claude, whatever you like to use. And it's really gotten better, especially with this deep research function. I know all of them are now doing this reasoning kind of function. But yes, LLMs have improved a lot, and this is something I'm potentially looking at using for future justification for share prices and investments. Even if it's not exactly, I don't think you should obviously base all your assumptions off this, and you can kind of build on this more. Again, I gave this a very generic prompt. I didn't go very in depth with it, but you can really, and give it some more. You can dive more deep into it and give it some assumptions, and then you can kind of use this to help kind of form your investment thesis, but I think it's a helpful tool, especially makes it a lot easier now for investors compared to having to scour the web to kind of find different topics and different viewpoints and things like that. This kind of just gives you a real strong general kind of put together report that a lot of just general investors are looking for, especially if you're not trying to dive too deep, you don't have as much time on your hands. I think this could be really useful. And I think I might be using at least the majority of that $2,500 to invest in Amazon stock. So that's kind of my goal, and just wanted to kind of share just a quick search on what I did on ChatGPT and kind of how that's helped with my investment decision into Amazon. Thank you.